is basically bringing human back into interactions with each other.
New right now at 6, diffusing a potentially dangerous situation as the country right now waits for a verdict in the high-profile case against former police officer Derek Chauvin, which is now in the hands of the jury as we speak. Police here in Connecticut are trying to change the way that they approach people.
And that's why officers are now going through some new training focused on de-escalation. But as Channel 3 New Haven Bureau Chief Matt McFarland explains, a group of pastors in the Elm City are questioning why they were not a part of this planning.
People are hurting now in 2021. They're loaded with history and trauma and emotion.
Retired Police Lieutenant Ray Hassett, a former hostage negotiator in the Elm City, knows a thing or two about de-escalation. And he says the new training he's putting these officers through starts with putting the humanity back into policing, listening and making a connection.
Training officers regardless of whether they've got a minute on the street or they've got 10 or 20 years on the street. Training them to take a step back, to kind of get a sense of what that person is feeling, not necessarily what they're thinking.
By June, every New Haven officer will take part in a 4-hour course on de-escalation, learning techniques to help diffuse a potentially combative situation.
There's a time to say no. There's a time to take control, but for the most part, taking a step back and getting a sense of what you're walking into is smart policing.
But this morning, a group of New Haven pastors said they were upset they weren't asked to play a role in New Haven's new training or the planning for any potential protests this week following the verdict in the George Floyd case.
People are looking for that one golden training. This is a conversation that's going to require the continuous interaction because you got generational stuff happening.
New Haven's mayor and the police chief say they expect people will gather in New Haven potentially this week following a verdict. And they say historically here in New Haven, they've always been peaceful demonstrations. They say they have no indication any upcoming ones would not be. As for the de-escalation training, they say they are looking to expand it and also do it more frequently. Reporting in New Haven, Matt McFarland, Channel 3 Eyewitness News.